cutting-edge, groundbreaking guitar. Even if you are pissed you have to retread songs, you get fresh solos. The band transforms these songs as well. Happy Trails and Big Bad Bill are retro jokes. Having fun the only way VH can. Plus you get Jan on clarinet, and that's a plus. You get 7 new songs, all original, super great, and groundbreaking. Cradle has 9 songs. 1 is a cover, and 1 is a small intro, Tora Tora. You get 7 original songs there, and people say that's great, so you get that and more on Diver. Cathedral, out of the park original, and push guitar techniques to another level. Little Guitar's intro and Little Guitars are great, one song into another, and it creates a spring day type of mood. This whole album sets such a great tone and brings you back to 1982. We all have fond memories of this album. I'm sick of, dude, this doesn't rock enough, and dude, this isn't heavy enough. Geez, take a fucking break. Not every album has to shout and scream and be in your face. If you wake up and have your alarm set to play Metallica, good for you. There are subtle things to enjoy in life. This does rock in places, and there are always the previous albums to listen to, as well as subsequent albums. Your thoughts? The fourth Dave Moses. Well, Dave Moses, you are preaching to the choir. Dave and I did an entire show about Diver Down 2 years ago, exactly, in May of 2017, in our episode number 14 called Don't Be Down on Diver Down. So you might want to check that out. I think the problem with Diver Down is that Eddie has bashed the living shit out of it. And he really has. And he has made everybody feel bad for liking Diver Down as if you are completely going against him. And however, it is definitely a highly successful album, selling over 4 million copies, and broke through commercially with Pretty Woman, setting the stage for 1984. But Eddie was insulted by all the cover selections because he wanted to do original material. Now, that's fine, and which is understandable, because he had plenty of original material, but he really did something interesting like you noted, Dave. He made those covers his own. A lot of the material in the covers is original material. He should almost have co-writing credits. I simply don't know how you could be a Van Halen fan and not love Diver Down. Everything on the album rocks, with the exception of Happy Trails and Big Bad Bill, but both are kind of colorful, humorous tunes. And obviously there's the sentimental moment where Ed and Al play with their dad. And you know what? They wouldn't even have that moment if it wasn't for Dave. And the damn band wouldn't be called Van Halen if it wasn't for Dave. So, what can I tell you? What do you say, Dave?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay.
Fourth Dave Moses, you're preaching to the choir.
That's right.
We love our Diver Down.
That's right.
And any album with secrets on it cannot be all bad.
That's right. That's right. And we are moving on to letter number 3. It's Chris Callan, and he says, "Hey, Dave and Dave, I really enjoyed your review of Van Halen 2 on the last episode. This has always been a go-to album for me, and I currently own a copy on vinyl and CD. There's just something about this record that never gets old for me. It's hard to pick a favorite, but the ones really stand out for me are Women in Love, I really like the intro, DOA, and Light Up the Sky. I'm curious as to where you can find Van Halen bootlegs. Thanks for the podcast and keep up the good work, Dave and Dave. I look forward to each episode." Chris Callan. Well, Chris, I can tell you this. You can start by going to vhboots.com to look them up. They don't sell them there, of course, but it is a catalog of Van Halen boots, so you want to check them out as to maybe what's available for each tour and the sound quality and the set list, so that's a good place to go to learn about the titles. In terms of buying them, once you get the titles, my suggestion is doing Google searches for them. Obviously, you can look on eBay. Sometimes you'll find some there. In fact, I just bought a few. If you have the name of the exact titles of Van Halen and whatever the title of the name of the boot is, maybe you could look it up. And there's all kinds of crazy websites that you might be able to find it on. So any advice for Chris, Dave?
I would say if you want a website where you can download it from in FLAC format,
okay,
guitars101.com. is a great place to start. They have lots of Van Halen and lots of other artists too. So that's a great starting point. Any BitTorrent websites that are still out there, you can download them. eBay, there's always somebody selling it on eBay, so you can check it out there. But if you look hard enough, you can find them. Like Dave said, if you want a complete list of Van Halen bootlegs, vhboots.com is the place to go. But don't bother asking if you can buy them from there, because the answer is no. It is strictly a reference guide. But if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find what you're looking for.
All right. And we are on to letter number 4. And Dave.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's
Midwest fucking Ron.
What did we get wrong this time?
Oh, well, you know what? I'm taking umbrage with Ron this time. This guy is trying to call me out on something I didn't do wrong. So he says here, is the Frankenstein guitar in the upcoming Met exhibit the same one that was donated to the Smithsonian? And he says, Daves, I guess you need to be a little more clear with my question. Your answer in mailbag number 40 seemed incorrect to me. You said the guitar donated to the Smithsonian was the original black and white Frankenstein guitar and left it at that. Your answer was technically correct. Edward donated an exact replica of his original black and white Frankenstein guitar, a stealth guitar, and an EVH amp and speaker cabinet to the Smithsonian in 2015. However, I was asking about the red, white, black striped Frankenstein guitar that was donated in 2011. And then he gives me a link to that. Upon further research, we know that the 2011 guitar donated was one of the 100 replicas made by Fender, and it was on loan from the Smithsonian to the museum in Springfield, Mass. through February 24th of this year. The guitar in the Met exhibit is the original Frankie. Midwest fucking Ron. He didn't write fucking Ron, I just add that. But you know what? I did say... Alright, Ron...
Look at you getting all defensive now.
We are splitting hairs here. Yes, of course. I understand. We did say the black and white Frankenstein guitar. I know I said that the one in the Met is the original. I know I said that because it was just last month. The actual original Frankenstein guitar. It's not a replica. This is one like the real hardcore and original. So I did explain myself, and if I confused you in any way or misled you, I have hired Gloria Allred, and she is representing the Dave and Dave podcast, and I refer you to her for any further technical difficulties or details. So you can touch base with her and clear it up with her. Perhaps if that was a replica and not the original black and white Frankenstein, and somehow I hurt you in any way in the process of explanation, well, I offer you this humble apology here, but I really don't think I misled you or did anything wrong. And for that little quippy comment, I'm withholding my Cabo Wabo update for you, which I was going to deliver nicely and will now come next month because I am getting slapped on the wrist once again by Midwest Ron as he rides off into the sunset with my head on a fork yet again.
You know what I didn't realize is that one of Ed's guitars was only about an hour away from me, and I missed it.
Oh, no.
Because Springfield, Mass. is only like an hour away from me.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So somehow I completely missed the fact that I could have checked that out. Oh well.
What can you do?
Yeah, say love you.
You have anything to say to your buddy here, huh? You like when he cracks my head open time and time again?
I do, but you sound like a defeated man already,
I know.
So I will rub it in.
This is amazing. I feel like every time I keep going into the ring with Tyson and I'm eating ground here. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I don't know. I like the way you offered him a wholehearted apology. I mean, I've been waiting for one of those for over 30 years from you.
Yeah, well, you keep waiting.
I am, with bated breath, I might add.
Okay, good.
Next mailbag.
That's right. On to number 5. Dave likes to move it along.
That's right.
Okay, well, we're getting a little slap on the wrist from this one here, too. This is Dan Neanan, who is a comedian, by the way. So this guy seems to think he's funny. So Dan writes, You're No Good is an absolutely amazing song from a guitar player's standpoint. What Ed's doing in the lead is beyond incredible, and it is like the first album where you are scratching your head wondering how the hell he does that. Listen at 2.10 mark. That noise there he is making is the sound of a cat scratching or something, which is absolutely incredible, and no one has ever done anything like that before. He also does it at the 207 mark in Somebody Get Me a Doctor. The whole song is right-hand tapping, and it's brilliantly innovative, so I must disagree with you. It was a great song to start with. Speaking of Somebody Get Me a Doctor, I'm sure you've seen this clip of Michael singing it in Australia. He's incredible. It makes me wonder if he might have been the singer if Dave hadn't come along. Van Halen could have had a 3-man band with a bassist singing lead like Rush. Eddie's guitar sounds are amazing here, and he does that scratching sound at 204, and he hits a wrong chord at 208. Fortunately for Gary, is confined to the background vocals and his effeminate dance moves. That's not very nice, Dan.
But fairly accurate.
Well, yeah, but even if... Look, is Gary gay? I have no idea. But if he is, what the fuck is the difference?
He didn't say he was gay. He just said his dance moves were effeminate.
All right.
That's all he said.
He's leading.
Stop being so defensive. Holy cow.
I just feel bad because if the guy is gay, I feel bad. I read a long time ago that Valerie Bertinelli's father was reluctant about her dating Ed because he was a hard rock guitar player, but Ed played Spanish Fly for the family and they were converted. Might have to look that one up. I also read that Dance the Night Away was originally supposed to be Dance Lolita Dance, and of course I believe everything I read. Also, you mentioned bands coming out with an album once a year. This is a standard record contract. When I was at Capitol Records / EMI Music, the standard contract was for 7 years, with 7 albums and a greatest hits. Anyway, loved it and love your analysis of Van Halen too. I had no idea they recorded it in 6 days. Some friends of mine who were assigned to Capitol Records recorded their album at 5150, and it took them something like 18 months. Dan Neanan. Well, Dan, listen, in regards to You're No Good, we love what Ed did with the song. We're not talking about Ed's guitar work and what he did with the song. We love that. However, what Dave and I were referring to was the record company imposing the cover song on the band, and that they had to start the album with a cover song, that they had to do another cover song, that they weren't confident enough in their original material, that they had to push that on to them. We were simply referring to that whole situation with the record company. Of course, we would much rather have Eddie put an original tune on there, of which he had plenty. Regarding Somebody Get Me a Doctor, it is classic Van Halen. Mike is a lead singer. No. Mike's voice does not work as a lead. He's a perfect backup, but he doesn't have the right vibe or charisma to pull off a lead singer. That is for sure. Yes.
Agreed.
Yes, Dance Lolita Dance was a phrase that Dave was singing on Dance the Night Away until Ed pushed him to change it. That's for sure. As far as Ed winning over Valerie's family with Spanish Fly, I don't know about that. I know Val's brothers were already fans of Eddie before she even started dating him, so I know that, but I have no idea how he won over her parents and stuff like that, but I don't know. What do you say to this, Dave?
Well, I've never been a fan of You're No Good, so I'm a little more forward than you are in that department.
Okay.
I'm just not crazy about the song.
Okay.
I mean, Ed's guitar work is good on it. I like the solo, but the song really doesn't do much for me. And if you like it more than me, hats off to you. Music is not an absolute. Everybody has their own opinion. If you like it, great. If you don't, no worries, man. No worries.
That's right.
All right, and, I wholeheartedly agree with you about Michael Anthony. Phenomenal background vocalist, good for a song during a live show, but he doesn't have the lead voice. He's got the harmony voice is what he has.
For sure.
As far as Val, I don't know, but I know her brothers were definitely Van Halen fans, and that's how she even got to the show.
Right.
Because they used her to get to the show.
Right.
And to even get backstage after the show, I think.
Right.
Because of her fame. So, but the Spanish Fly song seems to ring a bell, but I can't swear to that either.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I don't know. On to the next piece of mail.
That's
Dave.
right. Number 6, and it comes from Andres Herrera. And he makes it nice and short for you, Dave. He says, I just found your podcast today, and I must say it's great stuff. I just wanted to mention that I think the main riff in Ballad or the Bullet has reminded me of I